Welcome back. Research shows that for some, the road to recovery after contracting COVID-19 can be a long one. Some people can battle after effects like prolonged fatigue or shortness of breath.
And here with more on a specialized clinic dedicated to this very real need in our community is UT Physicians pulmonary medicine specialist Dr. Bella Patel, along with her patient Rudy Cabrera, who's experienced lingering symptoms of COVID-19. And welcome to both of you. Welcome to Houston Life. Glad that you're both here. Rudy, if we can, we would like to start with you. If you start off, first of all, when you first started feeling symptoms and how long this has been. I understand it's been several weeks for you.
Yes, I contracted COVID at the end of April and then was hospitalized for about 7 days, I think it was. I did recover to come home, but the only problems that I had at the beginning was shortness of breath and a lot of fatigue. It progressed through the months of May and June, and then finally I was able to return to light duty back to work, but still with the problem with fatigue and shortness of breath. I did have some little bit of, and I never realized it, I had some fogging of my memory. I couldn't remember things clearly, but as I progressed through the months of August, I tried to get back to full activity at work, and I just couldn't do it because I was still having the shortness of breath and fatigue. I started going to rehab, and then at that point, started getting better with the shortness of breath and fatigue. And I would say right now, I'm about 80 to 85% back. I still suffer with some fatigue, and I can't, I still don't find myself being able to do full activities as I did prior to the COVID.
And Dr. Patel, Rudy is one of a countless number of people who are dealing with after effects months down the road. I think a lot of people would be surprised that months after a COVID diagnosis, they could still be dealing with it. So describe to us the very specific care plan you have prescribed for Rudy.
Well, I think that Rudy is a perfect example of individuals who are perfectly healthy and then develop the COVID-19 illness and suffer long-term consequences. Some patients get COVID-19 virus and they have maybe very mild symptoms or maybe no symptoms, but other individuals can have prolonged effects. And not only whether they're hospitalized or not, they can have very similar effects like Rudy did. So, for Rudy, it's really developing a comprehensive care plan, making sure that the shortness of breath is something that doesn't need further advanced therapies, making sure he gets into a good rehab program, making sure that, the cognitive and that disorientation that people describe as fog is recovering. Otherwise, to make sure that there's other interventions we could potentially prescribe. So it's really taking care of the entire patient. And as we're learning more and more about COVID-19 disease, we know that it can affect multiple organs. And as far as how long the symptoms can last, obviously we're learning it can last at least 6 months in some people and perhaps lifetime in others. And so that's why we designed this COVID Center of Excellence, was really to take care of COVID-19 care patients. To make sure that as they're recovering, if they're not recovering within a few weeks, that we actually have a multidisciplinary team of physicians and other practitioners integrated in their approach to managing patients, so we can get people like Rudy back to work and saving lives.
And I do think that you've hit on something here, because I feel like there's new things. There's still so many questions about COVID-19, the long-term effects, or why it affects one person more severely than the other. And that's why this clinic is so important right in our backyard. And as Rudy talked about, your breathing, your physical ability, but also the cognitive one, the brain fog. And many of us, doctor, may not even realize that's happening as a side effect.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that as Rudy can attest to, that some people don't realize that they have this fogginess, but as they start recovering week after week, month after month, they realize that actually their cognitive function wasn't as normal as it could have been. And that's just one of the mildest symptoms. I mean, people can have strokes, even small strokes that they may not realize because they can be microscopic. And there's a lot of other neurologic side effects, including depression and other neurologic features. So that's what the center is for, to make sure that we're taking all of our subspecialists who actually are now specializing in this disease, and then tying them into the entire UT Health platform for COVID Center 19 Excellence, including things like understanding genetics, why some individuals get significant symptoms and die, and why others have very minimal symptoms. So we're looking at biomarkers and genetics and really an entire comprehensive program from prevention to intervention and therapeutics. So that's why I think it's so important to have a large health science center like the UT Health Science Center, in that we can take all of our expertise and dedicate them to taking care of a COVID-19 patient.
And we should point out that this UT Physicians facility is Houston's first post-COVID adult and pediatric clinic to help people recover. We're just about out of time. Rudy, I know you mentioned that you're feeling 85%. At some point, you'll get out there and feel like you can resume your activities as normal.
Oh, absolutely. It's been an ever improving process for me. About 6 months into it, it's half a year, so
yeah.
I can only progress forward. So yes, definitely having the clinic available will be very helpful to the community.
Well, we continue to wish you good health and stay safe. Rudy Cabrera, Dr. Bella Patel, thank you so much for this information and a great conversation, a timely one, as we need to get all of these questions answered regarding this disease. And if you would like more information or to schedule a consultation, you can visit utphysicians.com or simply call 888-488-3627.